You're watching Daybreak on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Let's take a look at this day newspaper, our sister publication. Full front page this morning, leading with the citing emergence of previous chairman. President Buhari okays consensus for the APC ruling party's convention. Governor El-Rufai denies division among colleagues and confirmed they are now on the same page. Party zones offices adopts PDP formula as they swap positions between North and South. The chairmanship goes to North Central, National Secretary to the Southwest. The leading photo here on the front page of this day newspaper, caption, pondering the future of the party, sees different governors as they met in Abuja yesterday with the President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, this comes at launch of the third force. Kwakwanso promises better deal for all Nigerians. More headlines here on this day newspaper. ECOWAS rejects Mali's 5-year transitional proposal, plans recapitalization of the regional bank. And above the nameplate of this day this morning, Nigeria, Iraq kick against hike in OPEC oil output as prices surge towards $100.
Well, here's the front page of the Punch this morning with photographs from the protest by civil society organizations yesterday as they told the president that a delay in the electoral bill assent will affect preparations for the 2023 polls. But the paper is leading with the March 26 convention of the ruling party. It says factions are faulting the party, and Buhari, governors opt for consensus as well as zoning. The writer to that story, Kwara, Oshun, Rivers, others warn APC against holding convention without resolving crisis. North-South to swap positions, that's according to El-Rufai, governor of Kaduna State. PDP, the major opposition party in the country, mocks the ruling APC, says ruling party unorganized.
This is the Nation newspaper. 2023 APC zoning tilts ticket in South's favour. Party to adopt consensus and picking national chair. Lawmakers vote on constitution review next week. 67 bills up for consideration. Ex-minister, others get 6 years jail term for 550 million naira bribe. And Jonathan keeps mum on 2023 speculated interest.
Some top stories in the front page of Nigerian Tribune this morning. APC zoning, North gets chairmanship, South to get presidency. That's on page 2. Front page picture here, Yaga Africa with coalition of civil society groups as they demand assent of President Muhammadu Buhari to the electoral amendment bill. Also, reps grill importers of adulterated fuel. More headlines on Nigerian Tribune. Constitution review, Senate to vote Tuesday, reps on Wednesday.
So the international papers, Daily Mail has the lead with President Biden describing President Vladimir Putin as twisted and ready for bloodshed.
Daily Express, as Britain and US target Russian oligarchs, calls grow to punish Putin harder now.
And the newspaper, Putin, crisis in Ukraine as Putin takes Europe to the brink of war.
Let's bring in Emmanuel Bella for the paper review this morning. Emmanuel, it's the midweek edition. Thank God you're here. Good morning. As usual, begin with our sister publication this day, and it's leading, of course, with the consensus of the ruling APC convention, citing emergence of previous chairmen. The president is okaying consensus candidate Emmanuel, and a lot of other things that happened yesterday with the meeting between the governors of the APC and the president yesterday. Which of those conclusions or resolutions came to you as a surprise? And the president favoring a consensus, what does that mean for the ruling APC as they have now set that March 26th date? And you do know here in the nation's capital, the streets have been adorned with several mega billboards of various aspirants. What's going to happen to all of them? Do you see a true consensus, or is it going to be a fight for the last?
Good morning, Adeso. That's a very brilliant take by you. Your questions themselves seem to be the main issues. Those are some of the things that everybody is talking about. But yes, you're right. What hit me really hard there yesterday, or imagine from those meetings where the general agreement that it's going to be consensus now. After a whole lot of people, a whole lot of aspirants have gone ahead to campaign so vigorously. And this one, like you noted, those heavy billboards all over the city. And what it must have cost individuals to pursue their ambition. But the president just saying that, look, the next chairman is going to, and the president is basing it on what has happened in history. He said all past chairmen of the party have emerged through consensus. And consensus will mean that the governors, all the other stakeholders agreeing on a particular person. Well, there are people who say consensus have its own merit. It saves everyone the crisis of spending on an election or spending those monies. They just agree on who the person will be based on all sort of other factors, and one of them is for the president. He was very clear about it. It has to be an energetic person, someone that is above board, someone that has not been immersed in any form of corruption charges in the past and all that. That's the sort of person that the president, said he will be looking for. But of course, there's a zone now. Imagine is the North Central zone that's going to produce the next chairman of the party. This whole story is important because everybody is looking at the APC. Whatever the APC is doing now, how it's getting it right, the decisions they are making now, even the issue of zoning the presidency to the south is very, very important because the national life is tied to this party for now. It's the ruling party, and I think that is why almost all the newspapers are looking at this story from all the various angles. And there are so many angles, so many things to look at in this story. The issue of the candidates, the issue of the governors, the issue of consensus, even party offices, zonal offices, and the other offices, where everyone is actually curious who is getting what, where is this party leadership going to, which zone is getting what, which group is getting what. And so I think that's why everybody will be pouring on those pages this morning of newspaper to look at what the APC is up to. It's very important. It is the ruling party, and the way it goes, so goes the nation.
On page 45 of this day, Emmanuel, at the launch of Third Force, Kwankwaso promises better deal for all Nigerians. This is probably another Third Force. So the former governor of Kano State, along with some other individuals like the former Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalong, they established what they call the national movement, and they're bragging that they will take power from the APC come 2023. What are their chances?
Slim chances, but you can't rule them out. The problem with the problem is that you see the PDP and the APC are like mega parties, and they're there. And most politicians will tell you that these are the platforms that are readily available, because it's not just enough to start a movement in a matter of weeks or months to the general elections. But of course, you might, to some extent, make some inroads into political offices, but the truth of the matter is that you have all those things to deal with. You have the issue of platform, you have the issue of the reach of the party, you have even the financial muscle of this party. You have to look at, it's not just the individuals involved. Yes, the former governor of Kano State is huge enough, got huge following, got huge fan base and all of that. The long former minister also has his own merits. But like I say, it's about the platform, it's about the size of it, it's about, and there's been all this talk, Kenneth, of a third force. At one time, everybody was excited, this almighty third force of a party that will provide alternative platform for beyond the PDP and the APC. And there are politicians really yearning for this. Some will even talk about the independent candidacy of an individual who can actually run without even a political party. We're not there yet. What we seem to be seeing now is the dominance of the APC and the PDP. Most people, most serious contenders will want to get to jump on these two platform and see what they can do. Of course, in a country of close to 100 political parties and now a third force, there are people that will stake their chances and try to see what other platforms can provide. But for now, it seems as if the two biggest players on the stage will be the APC and the PDP, and most serious contenders want to see if they can jump on it. But it's always good to think that, or to know that other politicians are really thinking outside these two boxes and thinking of how to also pursue dreams outside the mega parties and actually rally their base, rally the people behind them, and see whether people's power and people's votes can actually get them what they want beyond the platforms.
Now, Emmanuel, the Nation newspaper has this story on the lawmakers going to vote on Constitution review, next week. And this is an interesting story that has been getting little media time, really, but now it's coming closer. And the Committee of the Constitutional Review has been taking into consideration all these memos and hearings that were submitted by the public, and some areas for amendments for consideration: local government reforms, judicial reforms, special seats for women in the National Assembly, as well as state houses of assembly, among others. And something interesting that the Assembly is doing is separating all 67 bills. They're separating it in the situation that any of the bills that the president does not assent does not throw away the whole entire document, Emmanuel.
Well, yes, they have to play safe, so that because it's a tricky one between the National Assembly, the executive, the president throwing back those amendments back to them, and then not signing. So they have to find a way, some form of window to ensure that the president actually assent to these bills. And yes, it's a good thing that we are beaming our searchlight on the constitutional review. It's been going on. Aspects of our lives, the way we've been looking at the constitution that will be changed or improved on. And there are people that will argue that there are so many of those ones. They need to actually work on them, amend some, improve some, that touch directly on the way we do things, especially when it comes to the revenue formula and all that. So those are the reviews that are going on. Many issues being reviewed, and I think yes, we need to keep an eye, some kind of watch to see what's going on, who is changing what are the issues. We need to be very clear about it as we educate the public.
And Emmanuel, very quickly before we let you go, for weeks now, the U.S. president has been threatening sanction on Russia should it invade Ukraine. He finally acted yesterday, President Joe Biden leading the pack, imposing sanction on two financial firms, cutting them from Western financing yesterday. Your thoughts?
Well, it's just that we are at the brink of what will look like the start of a real serious international crisis. The question is whether those sanctions will actually dissuade Putin from chasing his dream of the restoration of the old Soviet empire, because that seems to be all that Putin is thinking right now. It's not even concerned about what NATO is doing, not concerned with what the Western allies are doing. He's more concerned about those invasions, and he's already, taking practically two entities out and declaring them independent, and he's supporting them, and those tanks are still rolling in every day. Biden has always said that there's going to be this invasion. Putin has always said, no, there were no plans for invasions, and all the other foreign secretaries, the Russian foreign secretary always deny. But now we're beginning to see that Biden's fear becoming reality. Now, the next thing to wonder is whether those sanctions are really going to work. What's really, are they going to bite? Will the Russian president actually think of the sanction, or will he just say, well, forget it, and then go ahead? Because he's got a dream to pursue. He wants to redraw the maps the way they used to be, and return some of this breakaway Soviet entity back to what it looks that for him, for Putin, has been the greatest problem of the 21st century, which is the breakup of the Soviet Union. So this is a man with a dream who wants to achieve something that looks very ambitious, almost visionary. He sees himself as a restorer. He's on a restoration agenda. Now, how these sanctions are going to dissuade him, or how they are going to change the equation in this, or even how the allies are going to actually come together and actually stop this development is one of the most interesting daylight drama that everyone is fixed on, and we're going to be watching to see how this plays out. But right now, we are at the verge of something really, really serious, internationally, and everyone is affected. The prices of the crude is already affected. Area of petrol is affected by this. Everyone is affected by this war, and so we must stay on it and watch how it develops every day. And every day, this what I can tell you, there's always a new thing happening. So we must stay on the story and see what is happening as Putin continues to march towards Ukraine.
Well said, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining us in the press preview.